Snyder's Justice League, all 4 hours and 2 minutes, are out on HBO Max. You can stream it. It is the director's cut to 2017's Justice League, the cut that probably should have been released. When anybody says that this cut is the one that should have been released, I'm in agreement there. Probably talk more about that. For, as you know, I'm not a huge fan of these Snyder superhero films. Man of Steel I'm very mixed on. I hate Batman v Superman with a passion. That movie made me angry. It pissed me off. I never want to watch it again. Either the theatrical cut or the Ultimate Edition. Even though the Ultimate Edition is slightly better, it doesn't fix my problems with the theatrical cut. Movie pissed me the hell right off. Never want to talk about it ever again after this video. But what Zack Snyder's Justice League is ultimately about, like I stated, it is the director's cut of 2017's Justice League that was finished up by Joss Whedon. Zack Snyder finally gets to release his version of the film. We see the Justice League teaming up to stop Steppenwolf and his army of parademons from collecting the 3 mother boxes. Now, I've already laid it out to you. I'm not a huge fan of these Snyder movies. Man of Steel has its moments, but I'm way more mixed on it, and like I said, I don't want to talk about BVS ever again, so thank you. So I will admit I was a bit skeptical when I had heard that the Release the Snyder Cut movement was actually successful and we were getting this cut of the film, because there was a part of me that was afraid it was still going to be very self-indulgent, as those 2 movies were. And I just couldn't handle that, and I also just could not handle the fandom behind this cut torturing me if I didn't like it or criticized aspects of it. So I'm hoping I can give at least a level-headed review. I went into watching this thing as level-headed as I could. I said, I gotta give this a fair chance. And like I said earlier, I do agree with the people that say that this should have been the cut that was released in 2017. This is by far more coherent and consistent than that cut. Actually really happy that Zack Snyder is finally getting the chance to show off his cut of the film that was meant to be seen and instead wasn't, where he really got stabbed in the back by Warner Brothers. I'm not for the whole restore the Snyderverse bullshit, but I am happy that the fans and Snyder himself get to see the film and get to release the film. And as I said, this is by far more consistent and more coherent. I understood the motivations of Steppenwolf a lot more. I understood the nightmare scene a little bit more. I understood just about motivations and decision-making in terms of the characters a lot more in this cut than in the theatrical cut. So honestly, saying that anything is better than the 2017 theatrical cut, one of the biggest compliments I can give this movie. It wasn't that hard to be better than it. And there were moments where I was having fun. There's this giant action sequence about 3 hours in where I was just having the time of my life, just watching the Justice League tear through parademons and fighting Steppenwolf, trying to get those mother boxes back, seeing them work as a team and how they operated as a team, I thought actually was really well done. And the incorporation of Superman. I have not been a fan of Snyder's version of Superman. I actually really like Superman in this. It didn't go the way I thought it was going to, especially with how it was marketed. But I think what they did with Superman, I was actually pretty satisfied. And in the end, I was like, makes sense what they're doing with Superman. Did it win me over fully from the complaints that I had with Man of Steel and BVS with Superman? Hell no! But they did a better job incorporating him into this film than they did in the 2017 cut. This is by far Snyder's clearest understanding of the character. He doesn't have a full understanding of Superman, but this is by far the clearest that he has had with that character. Everybody's saying that every member of the Justice League gets their moment to shine, and I agree, almost everybody does. As much as I hate this version of the Flash, he gets his moments to shine. Wonder Woman gets her moments to shine. Aquaman and Cyborg are by far the heart and soul of this movie, especially Cyborg. Loved Cyborg, loved what they did with Cyborg, loved Ray Fisher as Cyborg. That was like my one compliment for the 2017 cut, was Ray Fisher as Cyborg. They do a lot more with Cyborg in this movie, and I loved what they did with him. They delved more into his backstory. I understood him more as a character, and it was very relatable what they did with Cyborg, but he was by far the best part, along with Aquaman. Fisher and Momoa have such great chemistry. They have a lot of scenes together where Cyborg and Aquaman end up working together. Now I want a Cyborg and Aquaman spinoff because I think that that would be awesome. But when people say everybody has their moment to shine, please point out the moment Batman had to shine in this movie, because what the fuck did Batman do the entire movie? Batman just drove the car. That was it. I really love seeing other villains and some cameos from other superheroes in this cut of the movie that I really wasn't expecting. Like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but you'll recognize them when they come in. It made for some really cool Easter eggs and more like, oh, look, moments, you know? So that's what I really like. However, the rest of the movie I'm very mixed on. There's some moments I hated, there's some moments that are very eye-rolling. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that it is still Zack Snyder wallowing in his self-indulgence that plagued Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. Not as much here as those two films, but it's still there. That stuff I don't really like. I can't handle it. Like, I am sorry. I understand what Snyder is going for, but you have to be more subtle in your approach. Don't be so on the nose with how you want to handle these characters and actually gain a better understanding of these characters. Because let me tell you right now, Amy Adams is not playing Lois Lane. Amy Adams is playing Amy Adams, and that's something Zack Snyder doesn't really seem to understand. And I'm not saying that, oh, hey, like, I saw one version of Lois Lane, and I think that that's the best that we've ever gotten. I'm all for different versions of the character. I'll give you an example. Erica Durance on Smallville is my favorite interpretation and what I think is the best interpretation of a live-action Lois Lane. She has the sass, she's got the spunk, she's snarky, she becomes a member of the Justice League / Watchtower towards the end of the show. She just captured everything about Lois Lane perfectly while turning Lois Lane into her own thing. That's nothing against Margot Kidder or Kate Bosworth, because I really like their Lois Lanes too. It doesn't really help that Kate Bosworth was in a boring Superman movie and Margot Kidder was in 2 atrocious Superman movies, but they each bring something different to the table, and all 3 of them still feel like they embody the character of Lois Lane. Amy Adams, I don't see Lois Lane. Like, where is Lois Lane? That is not Lois Lane, that is Amy Adams. That's where I feel like Snyder doesn't really fully understand the characters and just gets caught up in all of his self-indulgence surrounding the characters and his self-indulgence in the interpretations of the characters. And that's not something I really like. I also thought The Flash was terrible. He had some moments to shine, but every attempt at humor is given to The Flash and it all fell flat. I just didn't like it. I don't like this version of The Flash. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, he had some cool moments, but that's not gonna save me from thinking Ezra Miller's not that good as the Flash, and that I just didn't think that he embodied the Flash. Like, sorry. There's also an action scene at the beginning involving Wonder Woman in a bank. Wow, that was atrocious. Look, I understand that this cut wasn't given a $250 to $300 million budget. Zack Snyder only had $70 million to work with, and that's fine. But people are getting flung around the room and Wonder Woman's moving at like different speeds. The movement and the people getting flung around the room looked really awful, and when the people are getting flung around the room, it looked like Matrix Reloaded CGI balloon people. That's how bad it was, and that's why I say that that scene is amongst the worst action scenes in the movie. And speaking of the action scenes, unfortunately, nothing really got me excited. Up until that sequence that I was talking about that's about 3 hours in, I wasn't really excited watching these heroes fight the parademons. I don't know, maybe it's because there was really like nothing around them, but I feel like the main reason and the main criticism I have towards these action scenes is the fact that I didn't really like Junkie XL's musical score in those sequences, but the fact that they're all desaturated in gray colors just makes these sequences look really bland, just dark and grim, and I felt as if they had minimal to no lighting. Every scene in this movie is like that, and every scene in almost every Zack Snyder movie is like that, and I get it. You can say, well, there's scenes in other movies that are like that, like Final Battle in Endgame is like that. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna take a comparison for a movie to prove to you my point. When Zack Snyder does stuff like that, puts me to sleep. You know what else puts me to sleep? Let's take an example here. Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest. I like that movie, but there are many scenes that are either dimly lit filmed at night, or just have this weird color saturation that just don't go easy on my eyes and really honestly put me to sleep. It's like somebody singing me a lullaby. Those types of sequences are not easy on my eyes. My eyes do not adjust well to those sequences. And that's why I didn't really like the gray color saturation Zack Snyder really added to these scenes and really actually seems to be in love with. I really don't know why. But if you are looking for a more consistent cut of Justice League, you are going to get it here. It is long, does have some self-indulgence. The attempts at humor fall flat for me, and there are some action sequences that I either didn't like or just weren't easy on my eyes because of that desaturated gray color. But most of the Justice League gets their moments to shine. I think you could still have some fun watching this movie. Just keep in mind the movie is basically over at the 3.5 hour mark. They do this epilogue that ends about like 6 times. And I just said to myself, oh my god, we are still here. There is no way this thing had to be 4 hours. Just end it. Just end it right here. Cut that last half hour off and just end it. For the sake of my ass getting sore, sitting on my couch, just end it. Because I could not take how many different endings there were to this movie. That's a little nitpick. So overall, what I think of Zack Snyder's Justice League, well, out of Man of Steel, BVS, and now this. This is by far the best of the 3. It's not great. I don't think it's a masterpiece. I had moments of fun with it, and I liked watching the characters interact with each other, seeing them on screen. I don't think they're the best live-action Justice League, because I still think this is the best live-action Justice League ever put on screen. I loved Cyborg and Aquaman working together, just the other things that didn't really work for me bogged the movie down a lot. With that, I think you can enjoy Zack Snyder's Justice League with 3/4 worth of a bucket of popcorn. Holy shit! I gave a Zack Snyder movie a positive review. This is like a breakthrough. I cannot believe this. I just gave this thing a positive review. That I need like a million like claps or something, or like pats on the back. I did not expect to give this a positive review. I felt at most it was going to be mixed. And it was like that for most of the runtime for this movie until we got to the 3-hour mark where I was actually having some fun. And I actually felt excited about the prospect of them completing their mission. And it bumped it up to me. It bumped it up for me. So yeah, I gave a Zack Snyder superhero movie a positive review. Take that how you will. So guys, what did you think of Zack Snyder's Justice League? I want some feedback. Drop me a comment in the comment section below. I will leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.